Okay, so the stream is connected with an excellent connection. So as soon as, if you guys want to share it, that's always great.
Yeah, actually.
Hey everybody, we will be starting the show very shortly. We have a great episode of Baby Mama Drama today. We got Hakeem in the building, as I know him, Keem the Dream, to talk about choosing yourself and living a better life. And this guy's he's seen both sides, right? You say that?
Yeah, man.
You got it, right?
You find lightness in the dark.
100%. It's a gift. It's actually a gift to be there. It doesn't feel like it.
At the time.
Not at the time.
That's why you got to reflect and be accountable.
Yeah. And Destiny, I'm gonna fix your camera real quick, or put it in focus.
Yep, no worries. I got a second. Anyways, we're gonna take.
Is my mic quiet?
Sure.
Is my mic quiet?
No, you sound fine. I think.
It's fine. It's probably
Get up in there.
Alright.
The lighting, fire.
It really is.
No, the content production is definitely top quality. Yeah. We do ours on Zoom because she lives, but it's just like, we don't have a YouTube though because it's so shitty.
That's
Do audio only. Like the visuals is just,
like I actually.
turn this way.
Yeah, just basically want you to ignore the cameras, like talk to her, and then just keep the microphone after your speech. You want to be speaking face of it, not the top. So yeah, so you want.
Get it.
Get it. I'm
Get
excited.
it in. Yeah. Live for these.
All right, so Destiny, you can kind of take it away whenever. Otherwise, if you need a couple of minutes or a minute, I'll connect the chat. So.
Let me just tag him so he can share us if he
All
want.
right.
It just has a live link on it.
Yep, perfect.
Then I'll just say this to anyone who might be joining us. As always, we'd like to invite you to tap in and join the conversation. So if you comment below the video on YouTube, we'll put your comments on screen, and if they can get to them, they will. And I'm
Yeah.
guessing they will.
I was gonna say, please comment. I'm like, please write in. Sometimes we have you watching and y'all just quiet. We want to hear.
Yeah, we actually want to hear. It's not just that you can; they want to.
Yes. All
All
right.
right. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Just 1 second. Now I'm connecting the chat. So. All right. Okay. Never mind. Go ahead. It's all you.
All right. All right. We're gonna get started. Hello, and welcome back to Baby Mama Drama, where the tea is hot and the drama gets brought. We are back. I just kind of want to go over, we've been really kind of trying to define exactly what we do here on Baby Mama Drama, and I really wanted to emphasize some things. So Baby Mama Drama is a space for real conversations with moms and even other parents, baby dads, fathers, whatever, but for people that understand that motherhood and parenthood is not a one-size-fits-all, right? There's so many ways to go about it. Not all ways are right, but not always are wrong. Every person has their own way of parenting, and I think it's important to highlight different aspects. So I created this to inspire, uplift, and connect with women. This platform is about embracing the beautiful chaos that we all know comes along with parenthood. It is chaotic, but we see through it and we get through it. So our mission is, just to remind mothers that you're not alone, and parents in general, but mothers especially. Whether you're thriving or just surviving, we're here to offer motivation, support, and the truth that transformation is possible. And I can attest to this, okay? Motherhood changed everything for me. It gave me a purpose, gave me clarity and strength that I really didn't know that I had inside me. And now I'm here, and that's what we're here to share. So today's a really special day. We have Mother's Day coming up this weekend. Let's go. Happy Mother's Day. This is our holiday, you guys. So really wanted to make this a special episode, and I couldn't have had a better person hit me up at the right time. So we have Hakeem here. Big Dream Hakeem.
What's up, y'all? How you feeling? How you feeling, Destiny? Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm so excited. He reached out at like the best time, was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. Let's collab. And I'm like, absolutely 100%. This is who I would want to have this week. Anyway, I'm just so excited. I've known you for what?
10 years.
10 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
About 10 years. We were both in our party phase when we were hanging out. Okay. So we have a lot of testimony to share as far as starting somewhere and ending up in another place, right? Basically coming up from little to nothing, I'd say.
Yeah, I call it my dark days because I was blacked out in the black market. But you find light in the dark, y'all. You just got to keep the faith in yourself and something greater than you.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we, in honor of our holiday, I do want to just take a quick moment to shout out. We have donations going to Sharing and Caring Hands. If you are local in the Twin Cities, Sharing and Caring Hands is a great organization for mothers, especially parents, that they will help you out. A lot of times they even give out like dental or medical care if you are in dire need. So I think it's a great organization if you have any donations. They also have a couple things on here that say like they even provide eye exams sometimes. So if you're just really down in the dirt, like I was homeless for some time, a couple of weeks anyway. During my pregnancy, it was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. So I figured I'd give you guys some kind of information that you guys can look up or work with if you're going through anything similar. So this is a great organization that if you're struggling and need somewhere to go, you just have nowhere or you have no one to help you, check this place out. And if you guys just want to, have some extra stuff you want to donate, this is a great place. I've been researching my donation spots, and this one is just such a great facility and organization. But in honor of Mother's Day coming up, really quick, I also do want to shout out my mother, one of my moms growing up. I had a couple. She makes this amazing, y'all know TikTok, it has got the beef tallow like all over. Okay, everyone's doing beef tallow. It's a really, really good moisturizer. This one is all organic, made from all natural ingredients. Can we see it? Yeah, we got it in there. There we go.
Yeah, we can see it. If you hold it still, there we go. Got it.
So, this is not on the market yet. There is no storefront, but it has 5-star reviews from everyone that's tried it. So if you're interested in trying, please send me an email at thebabymamadramapodcast@gmail.com, and I will get you a bottle. I will get you some, okay? All right, so next, we're going to go right into it. We have Big Dream Hakeem here in the building. Hey. Who are you? We got to know about you. So who are you? What's your name? What do you do?
Better every day, man. I embrace the balance and help people embrace their story, authenticity, go through the choose yourself process, and then contribute their gift to others. Because your gift is not for you, although it will help you find out who you are. It's for everybody else.
I love that. So we met a long time ago in our dark days, okay? Since he has been working with Revel, correct? Mm-hmm. His how would you explain?
Yeah, it's a new agave spirit. So I partnered with my uncle, and now we're expanding the category of Avila from Morelos. It's not tequila or mezcal, brand new, okay? Ain't nobody doing this. From the farm to your face, everything pure.
I actually love that, and I need to get me some of that because I'm a tequila girl.
Yeah.
That's all I drink.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
I need some Revel. No, but since you moved to New York, is that when you started the CYC, or tell me how it started?
Yeah, no, I was doing, I came from the dark days, then I went into my personal development phase, and then I got the opportunity to work with my uncle and start selling liquor around the city. Mm-hmm. I'd been bartending I've been in the industry since I was 8 years old, busting tables with my mom. She was a server. Started bartending when I was 19, all through college, and trying to chase the NFL dream. And then when that was crushed, went into my party phase, got into a situation of isolation, forced isolation, which made me choose myself. That was the very first moment where I was like, all right, ain't nobody coming for your ass. So ain't not even your creator. So you better choose yourself.
Isn't that a sad but such a, I don't know the correct word I guess I would use. It's almost like it makes you feel good, but at the same time makes you feel like shit when you know that nobody's coming for you.
It's a necessity, man. You got to get to that point where you're done dealing with your own shit.
That's right. Facts.
For real.
But since you've lived, how long have you been in New York?
4 years. So
Oh my gosh, wow.
October would be 4 years. So I
Okay.
was, we started crushing it in Minnesota and for sales, and then I got the opportunity to move to New York. And this whole time I've been, like, oh, this is my uncle. I get to make my uncle proud. Oh, I get to do something for my family. Oh, I get to pull myself out of bartending. Like, I can't do football. I don't want to bartend my whole life. This is a time to boost who I am as a person, implement and infiltrate my personal brand into sales and conversation, into marketing, strategizing, systems, reflection, accountability, research, all these tools you need for personal development. I started by acquiring them through sales out of passion for working and partnering with my uncle. That's what helped me grow fast, was that passion for family. I moved out there about 6 months later. We had to shut down.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Hold
we had
on.
to shut down, man.
Hold
We
on,
lost
why?
$6 million in freaking inventory because of the shipping. When a lot of brands were losing a lot of money,
Okay.
or a lot of product, because people were using a second manufacturer for aluminum for the cans, because
Okay.
there was aluminum shortage during COVID. So there was like
Okay.
a 2-year shelf life. So like thousands of brands lost a bunch of cans at the same time, in trucks, on boats, and all this. So
I think I remember that actually.
yeah. So when that happened, now I'm in New York, Manhattan, living by myself, washer and dryer in unit. Okay, guys.
Hey,
listen,
that's a come up.
I'm
Same.
saying, that's a flex. I'm like, and every time
It is.
I want to complain about doing laundry, I walk past the bum and I'm like, nope, I better go fold that laundry.
Yeah.
Gratitude in my attitude.
I love it.
But that was when I really had to go into my story, into, okay, I'm in New York City. What am I good at? What do I love to do? What's my gift? So I had to really find a way to stay out there. So I started helping other brands. I started doing coaching, fitness training, something I've been doing my whole life. I started doing foundation creation, which helped me pull out of my dark place, your nighttime routine, plus your sleep, plus your morning routine, without people, screens, or toxins, and really getting your time management down. That was the first thing I provided to people. So I was doing coaching, fitness training, picked up some other liquor brands, was doing some bartending on the side. But as I started to shed that pressure of my uncle's brand, my true authenticity came out. I started talking about my true story and growth online. And that's when people really started to appreciate who I was. Because before it was like, oh, can I say that? My uncle might be mad. He's the boss. I might ruffle some feathers. And so, okay.
You're good.
Yeah, no, I'm table pounding, y'all. But no, so that was me really going into who I was. And that's what I now try to help people do, is go into who you are outside of the labels, the preconceptions, the limiting beliefs, and the fear. Because in that transition, when everything was stripped down and I had nothing, it was like, go all in and go home. And, choose yourself was what stuck the most for me. When I said it in my videos in the morning, I call it growetry instead
Okay.
of poetry. So you flow a little bit. And then, as that developed, I built the community, the Choose Yourself community, started a podcast. Now we're doing a retreat. Wrote a book. I'm affiliate with the Gut Repair Solutions. So
Yes, we're literally about to get into your book, and
Yeah.
I'm so excited. 2 things about what you just said that I have to comment on because they're so great. Foundation. Listen, I always preach on the show, foundation and structure is the very first thing that a person needs in order to see kind of where they're at, where they can work, like the areas they can work on, and then you can figure out how to grow from there. If you don't know where you're at, if you don't know what the hell's going on in your life right now, you can't really make progress, I
Yep.
feel like.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you had mentioned was the identity thing. You kept taking on your uncle's this, your uncle's that. You shed that identity and you really learned about yourself. And I feel like that's when the true Hakeem, right,
Yep,
comes
yep.
out.
Yeah.
So I just find that really great. There's just so many things, so many knowledge bombs he's dropping for you guys. So pay attention.
That's why you got to tell your story, man. We are not that different.
Right.
Okay. We are not that different. Everybody goes through a similar ascension, transformation as the very first spiritual leaders on this planet.
Yep.
It's about what you do in your prayer closet, if we're talking about biblical. It's about what you do when you're alone, if we're talking about Roman times, that allow you to come back and fight the war, whatever that is, the mental war, the emotional war, financial, economy. What are you doing for yourself when you're by yourself?
Yep. And especially when you start reaching those goals, for me, I have to remind myself it's not over yet. Like, yeah, you made it here, but girl, you better keep it pushing because there's other things that need done. There's other people that need that need helped. So that's kind of like where I was when I started to see the progress in myself. I was like, I need to get out there. I need to help people, because the amount of growth that happened in such a short time is just exponential. And when I'm a humble person. Like, I'm not out here. I don't like to brag. I'm grateful. And I do like to say, hey, damn, like, look at what I did. But being humble is just that. It's not bragging. It's doing what you've learned and using that to help other people get to where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel. But speaking of, so you just wrote a book. I want to talk about this. I just ordered it, you guys. I'm so excited to read it. I was so sad I didn't get here on time. But tell us a little bit about your book. What's in it? What can we expect when we read the book? It's called, yes, there it is. Choose Yourself to Be Chosen.
That's it. Because if you don't choose yourself, why the hell should I? And how do I know how to? You got to set the standard for what you allow in your life by setting the standard for what you allow from yourself. How you treat yourself is what you're going to attract.
Yep.
If you stop, if you're not committed, you're eating BS, you're not doing what you said you would do, well, you don't believe your word when you talk to other people, because subconsciously we see what you do in the dark.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to build that confidence, and that's how you move differently, and that's how you actually radiate a different energy that keep the demons out.
Right.
Because you move with purity and authenticity. So through my book, you know, this is a big thing about what I've come to find out in my journey is you got your gift, which is what you do easily, that's not easy for others.
Okay.
That you never prayed for, you never trained for it. It's just something you can do easily that other people, not everybody can do easily.
What would you say that would be for you?
Speaking.
Okay, same. Mine is sharing stories, like sharing personal things or life events that maybe were really hard. And I'm not like a trauma bond person. I wait for the right time, and if people want to know about it, I just feel comfortable sharing, because I know that y'all are also going through these hard things. Like, I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah. If I see a little bit of me and you, I hope my story can help you.
Exactly.
And so I broke my story up into 12 chapters that I consider turning points in my life. In each chapter, there was an underlying principle and then some soul work you can do. Okay. Along with physical exercises, exercises inside, and then exercise you can actually implement outside throughout the week, throughout the month, to help you really hone in on that component of life, of story. So it went through my story to help you embrace yours.
Okay, so you've got the mental components as well as the physical in there.
Yep.
So I love that.
Yeah, man.
Put all that in there.
The feedback's been crazy. Like, there's been some people who are just launching businesses. We got people who, my homeboy got a divorce from it. I was like, oh, shit, I ain't mean for that. But he was like, I realized that I was trauma bonding. Thank you for your book. I was like, damn, y'all got a divorce? That is not light.
You're like, that's not what I was going for,
but if you choose yourself and those people got to go, it might be your own family.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, sometimes it is the people that we think that are good for us that aren't. And until you, like you said, choose yourself and learn about yourself and what your actual wants and desires are, you're not just compromising to not lose that person, but you're actually doing what you enjoy. Because I think people get lost in other people. So you're with somebody so long that or you're partying with people so long that you almost depend on them to make yourself feel better. And when you isolate yourself, like you said you had done, I did the same thing through pregnancy. When you isolate, you learn so much about yourself. And that's, again, where you can start making changes. But until you know your foundation, what's going on with your life, you can't do shit.
Can't do nothing. You're going to do exactly what you did last time or how you feel in the moment.
Yep. So I'm really excited. Not only did he just come out with this book, but you're having an event this weekend.
The book launch party, y'all.
Woohoo!
It's going down. Now, listen, it's not about being a tight ass. That's why I do the Choose Yourself Challenge. 30 days, no instant gratification, because it's about breaking free, finding your independence, and then embracing the balance.
Okay, so explain that a little bit more.
So 80% healthy, 20% fun.
Okay.
100% happy. Life can't be redone.
Okay, so you're saying you're not making it so you're extremely disciplined and you can't do anything. Like, it's not like you can't have a glass of wine.
Yeah, boring.
Right? Okay, so you can still live life, but you're organized, you're structured, you have goals, and you're cutting out all the bullshit, basically.
You got to take that time to appreciate something that you build in your sober state so that when you go into that party state, you got something you want to come back to.
Okay.
Now, if you can't go in a bar without drinking, you shouldn't be drinking. If you can't go in a casino without gambling, you shouldn't be gambling. If you can't stop thinking about, god dang, this weekend and you keep getting distracted from your week, well, you should stop going out on the weekend until you can get rid of them urges and them cravings and the neurological firing that happens in our brain when we get triggered by our environment or text or invites or FOMO and all these things. Until you overcome that, you shouldn't be trying to dabble back in places that keep you away from your intention and your purity. So I went 18 months first sober.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Was first I did that, and that's when I really went into the books. And I started waking up earlier and really starting doing motivational content online. And then once I got to a point where I was comfortable, then I was able to do all right, I'm going out this weekend, somebody's birthday. Or I got an event. I'm going to have some drinks with my clients or guests or investors. And so it was like, but then I was like, okay, I got a curfew. Mm-hmm. So I gave myself a curfew. 12 o'clock, boom, going home. And because I had gone long enough to where I listened to myself, curfew, wake up time, gym, discipline, save money, curfew, discipline. I did that so much. Who's in control now?
Yeah.
I am. Now when I dabble and all these demons and these little creatures start creeping up, like stay out late, call somebody, ask somebody where it's at, grab something. Like, hold on, man, you don't remember all that shit we did.
Right.
So there's proof. Mm-hmm. You have validation in your intention instead of your emotion taking over and being like, oh, I just want to stay out here more. These people are so fun. Well, I appreciate solitude, so I love going home. Yeah. Because I'm comfortable there. Some people want to stay out late because you don't want to go home alone. I did that.
But also, I think what you're talking about, you're living in the moment. You're not living in yesterday or you're not living tomorrow, like the FOMO thing. Like you're not missing, you're not missing out because you're doing what's good for you. Mm-hmm. Right? Where a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like there's this event, like I can only stay out for this long. Let me see if I can stay out longer. Let me see what I can do to push the boundaries, even though I know it's not good for me. Why do we do that to ourselves?
Yeah, man. I mean, just trying to be included in connection. But for me, it came from a lack of connection within. Yeah. So getting that, my ego stroked when I was around people, getting that, the all-star mentality, the great athlete mentality I didn't get on the field anymore. I got at all the parties. I was that dude. So I was getting my ego stroked, but I couldn't find a way to support myself in the dark days. So it was like, do I go here and face myself and actually do the work, or do I go out here and keep running from it?
It's always a choice.
Yeah.
It's always a choice. And like you said, choose yourself. So that's a big, big thing that I notice even with the pregnancy, just being isolated, it does something to your brain because when you're not filling it with buffers, I call them buffers, drugs, alcohol, they're buffering you from doing the things that you actually want to be doing in life. Yeah. It's going to take you an extra 5 years to like write a book if you're drinking every day, as opposed to really sitting down, concentrating, focusing on what you want the message to be to people. You really have to make the decision. That's why I'm just so obsessed with your motto, choose yourself, because that's literally, we have so many choices every single day and nobody else makes choices for you, right? Mm-hmm. So you really have to own it. And then I think my biggest thing to preach to other people is not blaming anyone else for your choices.
Yeah, once you blame somebody, you give your power away to change, because then you got to wait for them to change. And now what? You want to blame the economy, you want to blame inflation, you want to blame your genetics, you want to blame your freaking baby mama, you want to blame your kids, you want to blame your dad for not being there to judge, your freaking brother for dying. Man, what? When are you going? If you're like, okay, that happened, what can I grow from? The growth mindset, So Saturday is all about that, growth and celebration. We got Revel Spirits is sponsoring. We'll have Revel there, merch. We'll have books available, taking pictures, And I really invited anybody who I've ever had a relationship with, because every single person you met has contributed to the version you were meant to be for the people you haven't met yet, whether you like it or not.
Whether it's good or bad.
Don't matter.
Yep. I love that. I'm so excited. I'll be at the event this weekend, y'all. So.
Yep. 6 p.m. Saturday, Northeast. Tap into my page. I think it's 1121 Johnson Street, Northeast, 6 p.m. Then there's an after party, but I'm only talking about it to the people that come.
What's the name of the venue, Keem, so I can put it on screen?
It's called Create Space.
Okay.
It's an event center. Right. Yes. Right.
I'll find it.
Yeah. It's in Northeast, 1121 Johnson Street.
Yeah. So I will be there. I'm really excited. Like I said, someone I've known for a long time. I just love seeing the growth, and I love seeing people winning, like that we've known, especially from the dark places, you know, because all of us go through them at some point, and some of us get out and some of us don't. And the people that do, we're supposed to be reaching out to the ones that haven't yet. And that's, I feel like, what we're doing here. So,
Yeah. You got to get to that point of confidence, though.
and you have to be ready to change. I feel like you can't help anyone change that is like so stuck in their ways.
Well, yep.
It's like talking to a brick wall.
That's what I call the trigger point, man. If you're not, the choose yourself process doesn't stop until you get to the trigger point. And so we have to get to a certain point of appreciation and experiencing results of our hard work to where we get to a level where we're like, oh, I see the old me in them. Let me help them. But when we're in the beginning, you don't see the old you because you are that.
Yep.
But once you start growing and you see your body changing, you see your diet changing, you see your bank account changing, you see your conversation changing, you see your mindset changing, then you notice when somebody else who did what you used to do, you're like, dang, I know how to get them started. I haven't reached my goal yet, but I'm right in the middle and I can reach back down. I don't have to be a millionaire successful flying around the world to help people. I could be literally just lost 50 pounds. You can help somebody lose 50. I could have just quit smoking. You can help people quit smoking. I could have just fasted for one day for the first time ever. Now I can help people who want to fast. All you got to do is one thing, see the results, and then you can reach back to people who were where you started.
I love that. And I think a lot of us, you know, we doubt ourselves when we are feeling success and getting successful. I think we doubt ourselves in ways that we can help people because we've done it for ourselves, but we've never helped anyone else do that. But listen, if you can do it for yourself, you can help other people, or at least tell them how you got to where you are. You know, I feel like nowadays it's not as taboo as it used to be, but it used to be kind of taboo. Like when someone's successful, excuse me, oh my gosh, tripping over my words. When someone is a successful person, they like to keep keep things to themselves. And I think it's so nice to see someone and other people that are opposite that just want to help, because we're out here struggling. And what is the point of us all struggling? Think about it. If we're all successful, then there's a lot less people struggling. So it's like, instead of hating on somebody for not being able to do what you're doing, help them.
We're all connected, man.
Yeah.
So if you're going to gatekeep all your little secrets, first of all, you're probably blocking your blessings from developing new ones.
Yes, I love that. That's facts.
And also, you can't gatekeep everything. If somebody else discloses something that you possess, then the people who are in your circle who could have used your help are going to be like, why, you knew that this whole time? You knew that? This dude wrote a book about it. Yep. You knew this the whole time? And I had to hear on a podcast that you knew that? And you my best friend. And I was in the dark. And you didn't mention nothing about it.
You're losing authenticity.
Fakery.
Yeah. Well, I have come up with some questions for you.
Yep, let's get it.
Are you ready?
Come on now.
All
Stay
right.
ready.
I'm ready to shoot. Let's go. So I came up with some questions for a lot about mothers, for mothers out there. So if y'all are listening, he's about to drop some knowledge bombs. I know it.
It's coming in.
All right. So my first question is, what are 5 ways that mothers can choose themselves? And this can be tough, I always say, because our kids, as mothers and fathers, seem like the most important thing at all times. You know, that is our number one. So can you give me 5 ways that mothers can choose themselves aside from when they're with their kids?
Go to sleep with your kids.
Okay.
When your kids go to sleep, go to sleep. Now, I have a lot of mothers. I have a couple of teachers and coaches in the Choose Yourself community. And once I started talking about your me time is before they wake up.
Okay.
Because if you wake up with your kids, then your mind is already distracted by your kids. So it's like, right when your kids go to sleep, do your nighttime routine, go to sleep, wake up a little bit earlier, and then set your mentality for the day. That's one thing. Go to sleep with your kids, but also your diet.
Okay.
Your consumption. And that's just what it does for anybody, you know. And then don't hold on to the past relationships that you've been a part of by setting boundaries. And there's 3 rings of boundaries I talk about in my book, chapter 8. You got it's like a bullseye. The center is health, time, energy, core values. That's what you develop first. Mm-hmm. The second ring is how you disperse those things. The third ring is just what you want to do, just what you like to do. A lot of us, and I don't know about a lot of parents, but a lot of people, which doesn't matter if you have kids or not, start with what they want to do. and that gets taken away by kids. And you have to do what you have to do, and it becomes like, oh, I'm a mom now. Well, the whole thing about becoming a mom is to pass on the gifts that you developed, your story, your passion. And so being able to embrace your purity, it shows your kid how to be themselves. Like, obviously, I don't have kids. No baby mama drama either. For that reason. But my kid is my peace. My kid, it can be a business. It can be your garden. It could be, but how do you prioritize the things outside of what you really love in order to come back to what you love? Business, legacy, your community, your garden, your whatever, your car that you're building. What do you do so that you can be fully aware and fully present in that moment?
Okay. You gave us 4. Give us one more.
Exercise.
Yes. I love this
You
one.
better exercise, y'all. That's going to release all the neurochemicals, your dopamine, your serotonin, and also going to give you the ability to manage stress. When you put yourself in a controlled struggle and you increase the volume on the
Yeah,
excuses.
cortisol gets high as hell when you're just around toddlers all day and you don't get outside.
And you have to have something to combat that. There's actually a hope molecules that are released when you lift weights. Lift weights. It doesn't happen when you do cardio. Lift weights, because it's released when you tear your muscles. Hope molecules come out, and that's what actually helps combat the cortisol, and it helps with muscle recovery. I think Andrew Huberman was talking about it on his show, and so exercise will help you also when your heart rate increases. You'll have clarity at 130, 140 beats per minute because you visit that heart rate range every day as well, and so you're training for the adversities and uncontrollables of the day. I'm sure there's a lot when it comes with kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Don't even get me started.
Even without kids.
So 2 things. For one, I used to be a trainer. I can attest to this. The lifting weights, especially mothers with children, y'all are going to get a bicep at least on one arm anyway from picking them up. Swear to God, I did not know I was training to be a bodybuilder when I had a child. But yeah, it's they grow and they just keep growing. So that, yes, lifting weights could help all mothers. I think it's really important. Even if you start super small, just get in there and try it. The other thing is, I've noticed a lot of women struggle with doing cardio or even exercising at all. I started, when I don't have me time for myself, I will at least take my son on a walk. Walking is huge. Just to get that mental clarity, get out of the house, get out of your box, and get your thoughts and your creativity flowing in your brain. Because a lot of times when us mothers are cooped up and stuck in the same room all day with the toddler, you don't want to do anything else. You don't want to get outside. So by forcing yourself, I feel like it opens up a lot internally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, any movement. We need anything living has to move to be able to stay alive, down to the smallest molecule.
Yes, that's facts. We're going into What's the Drama, Mama? So you can throw that up there if you want to, Gabe. So let's go into the second question. So you gave us 5 different ways that mothers can choose themselves. How can we implement them? Like, what strategies would you give to mothers on implementing other than waking up early?
I say, if you can invest into a nighttime routine. I think sleep is probably the most important thing before exercise. If you're not sleeping, I'd focus on your sleep before exercise, once you can get that REM sleep. So getting a routine where you have a curfew or, a wind down time where you turn the lights down, turn the screens off, and find a way to transition. You have your curfew, then you have a digital sunset, and then you have your nighttime routine that guides you into sleep. So it activates your melatonin, activates your circadian rhythm. It could be stretching, journaling, reading, hot bath, cleansing, facial cleanse, whatever the things you like to do to calm your nervous system down and calm and decompress, and then read in bed by a certain time, an actual book.
I love reading, so this is great advice for me.
Yeah, so even if it's 30 minutes, take 30 minutes. If you want to sleep, if you have to sleep at 8 or 10 or 11, make that commitment at 10:30 to be in bed, sleeping. Reading.
I love this. So that was one of my biggest faults for the longest time was, 1, because I have hard time sleeping, but 2, like once I got into a sleeping pattern, I love sleep now. Like,
Same.
do not mess with my sleep. Y'all, I wake up at like 6:30. So, and that's due to my new apartment. The sun just like blares in through I have the blinds, but it just goes through. So whatever. That I can't help, but going to sleep I can. So I just been going to sleep earlier, and let me tell you what a difference it makes just in your day to day, having the extra 1 or 2 hours that you might not be trying to get. You need it. If you don't think you do, you do.
Do you wake up before your son?
Yes. So that is actually, I do implement that, and it helps me just get prepared for the day. So like even this morning, like I was able to blow out my hair and straighten it before he woke up. And that just gives me that much more time in the morning to do all the things I need to do for him. Mm-hmm. Then I fed him. We walked to Starbucks. I got a low-cal coffee. This is the first time I've had coffee in like a week, so I'm really proud.
Coffee's not bad for you. It can be good if it's good coffee and you're not dependent on it. But
yes.
I like coffee. Moderation. It's good. Tastes good. Feel good.
Yeah, so I had a little treat for myself, and then we walked back. He was covered in chocolate, and I still had time to like give him a full bath. Because I woke up probably 30 minutes before him, and that's all I needed. Sometimes I need more time, an hour, maybe 2, it just depends on the day. But having that, I mean, it changed the whole trajectory of today. I was able to be on time, be a little early even, set up for the show, do all the things that I might not have had I not gotten up.
Buffer.
Yep, had I buffered.
It's a buffer, that early morning. It gives you that mental clarity to stay committed throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And builds the momentum. If you wake up early and you do what you said you would do, and you do the things to make yourself feel like you love you, then that's what you radiate as the day goes.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let's talk testimonies. So you said you have a couple of mothers that you have helped and coached. Mm-hmm. What would you say one of the biggest revelations that you've heard a mother say since choosing herself? Like, what is one of the biggest things that she's just been so grateful for?
It's the foundation, man. That's really what it comes back to. We have one self-chooser. Actually, her story is amazing. She went through all this ancestral kind of pressure of the culture and where she's from. And I don't want to get too detailed, but she finally broke free of all the titles and stuff she was doing to please the people from her past, mm-hmm. because she had a community that believed in her and was sharing testimonials so that when she was alone, she could hear us, she could feel us, because we talked about and appreciated the little small changes she was doing. And that radiated into her kids. And her kids love me now.
I love that.
They be coming on weekly meetings with the CYC every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Tap in. Every week. And they're like, hey, I came. I'm like, hey, what's up, y'all? That's tight to see kids coming on and appreciating the CYC. But, there's a teacher who started coaching. We got another self-chooser who came on, and she was doing a full-time call center. Now she's starting a business. We have another one who lost 50 pounds after 50 years old. And so there's all these, another one who came from a different culture, a different heritage where they pick your husband for you.
Oh, yep. I know somebody. Yep.
And so she had to break free of that from her and deal with how her parents felt about that.
Man, that's tough.
And so her really falling in love with herself, it just goes to show that choosing yourself is the root of everything. It don't matter where you're from, how old you are, what you're doing, what you got, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what your skin look like. If you can't find out something you love about you, well, what are you going to show other people?
I was going to say, who else can love the things about you if you don't love the things about you?
Dad, what you doing?
Yep. I love that. I think that what you're doing is amazing. And it's just so good because I remember you kind of just saying motivational things before you even started Choose Yourself. Like, you were already doing it. You already had that in you to, like, help people. So to see, like, the growth is just spectacular. I'm just so excited.
Thank you. The motivational component, I've always been that dude on every team.
Okay.
I led every chant. I was always halftime. What we doing? We work hard for this. That was always me.
Okay.
Since, like, 3rd grade, I was always that dude. But when I had to start waking up early, I was staying out till sunrise, waking up at 2 p.m., And then when I partnered with my uncle, I had to wake up at 9 a.m., which is 5 hours earlier. And some people can't even wake up an hour earlier. Okay, so I'm telling you, this stuff works, all right? I had to start waking up at 9, and it took about 6 months. But in the first, 3 weeks, after a week, I read a book, David Goggins, where he said, when you're in that poopy pants mindset, what he calls it, record yourself and then play it the next time that you're in that poopy pants mindset and realize how much of a bitch you sound like.
Damn, I need to do that.
I did that. So my alarm went off and I was like, I'm going to try this shit. Recorded him. I'm like, I'm tired. Like, this sucks. Like, I don't even want to do this today. And the next day I played it. I was like, oh, hell no. You sound like a straight pussy. You sound like the softest man on the planet. And it got me up. And so every morning I'd play a motivational content. My alarm would go off and I'd play YouTube, Eric Thomas, David Goggins, Denzel Washington, Will Smith.
Brett Castillo's a good one.
And I'd hear something. They'd say something and I'd be like, all right, I'm getting up. So I'm like, how could words off a screen get me out of my bed? I want to be that for people. So then I took the skills I had from the past and I just started posting content. And that helped me stay accountable because I would say something online I wasn't quite doing yet offline, but then my integrity kicked in over time, and now I do it every time.
You got people counting on you now.
Well, you got to do what you said.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're a fraud. So make the claim to others, and that's where the CYC was born, because not a lot of people want to go talking to content. They don't have a family. They don't have somebody they can talk to that won't judge them or disbelieve them. So you come say it to the CYC of people who actually care. Now, when you're alone, you got to do what you say, because next week you're going to see us again. You're going to be a liar? Are you going to admit your wrongs, which is also fine, or are you going to do what you said?
Yep, that's a huge one, is being held accountable, like finding support, and not just support to like hoorah you all the time, but support that's actually support that's going to be like, hey, you're not doing what you said you're doing. Like, that's real support, is having somebody tell you when you're accountable and when you're not. You know, you can't, it's not all, life is such, okay, so I have to put this in here because life is 50-50. As we're sitting up here trying to motivate y'all and tell you like testimonies and you can do it too, listen, it's not all flowers and fucking daisies. Like, there's hard moments every day. There's a roller coaster of emotions every day. You just have to keep choosing yourself, like you said, and know that the outcome is going to be better. Whatever you're going through right now is just right now, right?
Put the systems in place, man. Something you can rely on. And you can't repair your roof in the rain.
Yep.
So don't be out here, goddamn, because it's 75 and sunny and it's not raining, you skipping to work on the house. You still got to do the exercise, meditation, journaling, cleaning, eating clean. Yeah, there's a balance, but the systems, what I'm saying is in the morning, you can take 2 minutes of meditation, write down 3 things you're grateful for, do 10 push-ups, stretch for 10 minutes. That's a 25-minute morning routine between your alarm and your screens.
Yep.
Go from your alarm to the bathroom, wash your face, wash your ass, brush your tongue. Get out here and tap into yourself before you tap into your screen.
Yep.
Something small you can do. That's the system. And you stay, I promise you stay committed to that, your mindset will change.
It will. I was just talking right before I came to the studio with my best friend Jewel, and I was just mentioning how I like I said, I got up just a little bit early this morning, and I was already halfway ready before my son even woke up. And just that alone, having that time to like make myself feel good before I start the day really sets the tone. Like, it really does. If you have to do it after your son goes to bed and put your hair in rollers for the next morning, do that. Whatever, like, make it work for you. But just do something, because when I wasn't, the first year after I had my son, I was barely, like, I was living in sweatpants. I didn't dress up to go anywhere. And that was also part of like the what's it called? After you have a baby, you have like this postpartum depression. Most women go through it. It's a hormonal imbalance. So that had something to do with it. But even through that, I could have made better choices, and I didn't until a little bit later. So news for all you new moms out there, start getting to it earlier. Don't be like me. Don't do what I say, not what I do, right?
And for the first of all, kudos to y'all for having kids. My mom is a crazy birth story. Thank you, Mama D. But also, strong, fit women are the strongest beings on the planet, because they have to deal with
I love that.
the hormonal imbalance, the emotions. They have to deal with their cycle, all these things men don't have to deal with. And if you can still find a way to stay disciplined in your consumption and fitness, that makes you mentally stronger than most. And a lot of women have a hard time. Their metabolic rate is different. The body fat composition, your hormone imbalance, the thyroid, and all these things that are actually an issue that you have to be mindful of. And men we just got to go every day and kind of eat kind of clean. Just live heavy, like you just eat.
Y'all don't got to do much to your hair either. You're man. Lucky as hell.
You got it easy. So I appreciate all the fit women and the thick fit women, but if you're thick fluff, you could start today.
And that goes right into my next question. Why is it so important to implement these things right now today and not wait?
Because it just gets harder, man. The more you run, it's going to get tougher because you actually have myelin, which is a scar. It's a fatty tissue that wraps around your neural pathways.
Yep.
And that gets stronger the longer you go down the same pathways. That's why you got to try new things. You got to travel. You got to have conversations. You got to taste new food. You got to meet new people because then it's like going down the same ski slope and boom, new snow. And you're like, what's this? Now you have to be present. If you keep doing the same thing, you're not present. Your mind's wandering. You're just doing the same thing every day. When you try something new, you got to take everything that you've been doing in the dark, everything you've ever learned in your life, and try to put your best foot forward. And you can be whatever brand, whatever version of yourself you want to every new person. But the goal is to have them be sequential and not sporadic. You don't want to be a different version. Like T.I. said it. He's like, yeah, I'm a businessman. I used to be a gangster. I'm a family man. I'm a lover. I will make $1 million. I'll tell a joke. I'll beat your ass, and then I tuck my kids in the bed. But it's all me.
Right.
It comes from the same character, the same moral base, the same moral core values. But I don't talk to Mama D the same way I do my shorty or the same way I do on stage or the same way. But it all comes from my core beliefs, and that goes back to the center of the bullseye of boundaries. If that is intact, then you can share it different ways, whether it's your first date, first interview, whether you're talking to your grandma, it still comes from your same belief. But, not neglecting that. If you're neglecting that, then, what are you talking from? You're talking from developing a character, trying to make other people happy instead of your character for yourself.
I always say different faces for different places. Like, I'm not going to be the same if I'm out with a girlfriend one night versus being at home with my kid. Like, I have different versions of myself, but it's all the same person. You just have to know the right time to be different parts of yourself, I feel like.
Yeah, that's right? It. Awareness,
yeah. What's a recommendation for women struggling to choose themselves? Like, if I had a mother on here that says, I got 5 kids, I ain't got time.
Yeah,
what's your tip?
No, I feel that, man. I mean, filter your senses. Filter your feeds. Not just what you eat, what you drink, what you're watching, what you're saying to yourself, what people are saying to you, who you follow when you scroll, what shows you're watching, what news you're watching. All this stuff impacts how you feel and how you perceive the world. So if you can fill it with positivity, stuff that'll help you get to the place you want to be, then the mind is listening. The subconscious is listening. The spirit is listening all the time. The conscious might be all over, but if you can consume mindfully when you don't believe in yourself, put things in that are positive, that can motivate you. Tap into some books, a podcast. I mean, I know you might not have time, but you're consuming something.
I was going to say a lot of excuses that I hear are I don't have time, but are you trying to make time?
Right.
It's like, have you been scrolling for the last 2 hours on your phone while your kids are playing? Like, you could have been doing step-ups or like whatever kind of exercise while your kids are playing at the park. You're over here in the corner, you're getting your workout. Like, there are ways, right? You just have to believe in yourself and then actually try and implement them.
Yeah, but get your own boundaries, man. Set some boundaries. Like, really sit down and reflect on your week and see what you consumed. Digitally, mentally, physically. What did I consume? And then look at it. Because if you're just doing it on autopilot, you don't know how much you're consuming, how much pop, how much coffee, how much freaking sweets, how much late night binging, how much screen time. Like, if you don't look, it just feels like, oh, it's just part of my day. This is when I scroll. Well, you could be researching a business. You could be reaching out to coaches. There's communities. There's people who have done this before. So, all this stuff is out there, especially with the internet.
Yep. We have access to like everything right here on our phones, guys.
Everything. People getting paid millions from that thing. Yo.
Yes. So I have kind of an interesting question that I thought of. Do you think through your experience, do you think single mothers or married mothers have a harder time choosing themselves? Personally, I can answer this. I feel like... Before you speak, hold on. My thoughts on this are that married women actually have it harder because they have a husband to help. Like, you have a relationship to uphold as well as raising a child. Whereas, like, you could choose yourself a little bit easier. You might not have much help or time, but you don't have a relationship to uphold. Feel like relationships can be a lot more difficult to implement, like, when you're trying to do things for yourself.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it comes down to what's important to you.
Okay.
If it's finances and time, then it's probably harder to being single. But if you're more concerned with, having that connection, love, support, and that bond, or not concerned with it, then it might be harder being married. So because in marriage, you get more time, you get more finances, you get more support, but then you also have to be mindful about what you're doing everywhere because you're benefiting another grown-ass man, or not benefiting, but you're connected with, you're communicating with, like, what's my husband going to think? Is this going to be okay with him? Like, what did we talk about before? What have we been through? And these are all these other thoughts that come through as you start to change. And one thing we was talking about before was the people that know you from your past. Like, if you want to start choosing yourself and your husband's not, it's going to be hard to, like, really really go after that transformation when you guys go out to eat bullshit every night. Like, I don't want to go eat that no more. I don't want to stay up late no more. I don't want to. You can make that change as a single mom whenever you want without having to deal with the judgment of others. But, we had somebody on our podcast who started going in the sunlight because she couldn't sleep. So she would get sunlight in the morning, and it started to help her sleep. And then she would make the room all dark, and then eventually her husband started doing it. So one way you can do it is just choose yourself. And if he don't like it, man, shoot, he going to have to do something. You have to do something, but I don't know. It just depends on what you want, man. I think both are hard. Just parenting is tough, especially nowadays, for sure.
I had a question here, but I think you already kind of answered it. For any mothers out there asking, what is the first step to choosing myself? I think you recommended the foundation thing. Would you have anything else you'd want to add?
Yeah, I mean,
like, what's the first step?
You better pray. You better pray to somebody. It could be to your future self. Because and stop saying please when you pray. Stop saying please. Because you're speaking from a place of lack.
Yep. I agree.
Where's your faith at? What you saying please for? You don't think you got everything you're supposed to have? Mm-hmm. If we talk about the grand scheme of things, if the destiny is already created and the destiny is objective and the journey is subjective and you're supposed to go through these things to develop, why are you saying please?
Right.
Say thank you for whatever you want, whatever you have. And then you actually, when you express it out loud, you're threefold expressing gratitude when you say thank you. Because you got to think it, say it, then you hear it. And then you hear yourself say it, so then you believe that you're grateful. So prayer, you want to do nighttime routine and mindful consumption.
Okay. I love that. I definitely think that that's a huge point. I used to be one of those people that said, please, when I pray. I was coming from a place of lack. And then I did start saying thank you for things that I didn't even have yet. Mm-hmm. I started saying thank you for this, thank you for that. And guess what happened? They came. I swear it works. But yeah, so I have a few more questions, but we're going to go into the Mama Manual. This is like a little bit of informational part of the show. I have a few more things for you guys before we get out of here. You have that GIF up?
Okay. No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. Sorry, I'm pulling it up at you.
No worries. Okay, so we're just going to go into the Mama Manual. So something that I've brought up on here that goes along with like a lot of what you've talked about is I always preach the biopsychosocial model. Have you heard of this?
Nope.
Okay, so it's
Never mind, I've got this. I'm sorry. I thought you were referring to something else, so here you go. Right here, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha. So this is the biopsychosocial model is basically what you said. So biological, it has to do with your physical health, which is a relationship to disease or physical health, how your body's doing. Your psychological is your mental health, so your aspects of mental and emotional wellness and how it relates to your behavior. And then your social environment, interpersonal factors such as social interactions and community activities. So I think all three aspects are so important for us in our growth as humans. If you're sick, and you're feeding that sickness with bad food or, things that cause diseases like loads of sugar. Oh my gosh, my friend had an A&W cream soda the other day and not diet. There was 77 grams of sugar. God. I'm like, what are you doing?
Dang. Yeah, that's a lot of sugar, man.
In one soda. So if you're out here complaining that I'm not healthy, I'm not losing weight, look at what your choices are, right? Mm-hmm. And then look at not only your biological choices for your physical well-being, but look at your mental. What are you telling yourself during the day? What is your subconscious saying? Because I caught myself even the other day going to the gym. I hadn't been in a week. And I had all these mean negative things going through my head to myself. And I'm like, what the hell?
Good for you, though, for recognizing that.
I'm like, why am I destroying myself saying these things that I know aren't true? So just acknowledging, even just noticing what's going on in your head. A lot of people have a hard time doing that because they just are so automatic. So taking that extra pause to be why am I thinking this? Not just what am I thinking, but why.
But you gotta practice though. Mm-hmm. Meditation, exercise, cold showers, stuff that gets you present, because we were talking about increase the volume on that voice. It's gonna come all day. It's gonna tell you to snooze, it's gonna tell you to eat BS, it's gonna tell you to snap on your boss, it's gonna tell you to blame somebody else. You got to put yourself in the control struggle, because life going to put some struggles on you. Did you prepare that mental muscle to flex? It's actually called the anterior cingulate cortex, and there's the dorsal cortex and the ventral cortex. The ventral is reflexive and the dorsal is intentional. And that's why the CYC emoji is the dolphin, because the dorsal cortex is the get over it, get after it muscle. So when your alarm goes off in the morning, your ventral cortex, it notices the alarm. Then your salience network provides you with your choices. Stay in bed. I can quit my job. I don't have to get up. Sleep in. Get up. And then your dorsal cortex picks from the choices. So when you increase the volume on the alarm, on the signal of excuses of, oh my God, I'm tired, I'm going to quit. Oh my God, I don't want to go home, I'm going to go home. Oh my God, I don't want to eat healthy, I eat healthy. You increase and then you overcome it, then that gets stronger. So then throughout the day, when the voices increase, which is what you're experiencing because you were choosing yourself, you've identified that power, now you can identify the quitting mind instead of succumbing to it and then let it consume you. So kudos to you, girl.
Thank you. And he just dropped knowledge bombs because that's some really good information. You guys, just because we're sitting up here preaching to you doesn't mean that we don't still struggle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We just have the balls to come up here and talk about it. I feel
you got balls?
Big, giant, hairy balls.
Whoa, shit.
No, I ain't got balls, you guys.
Guts, though.
No balls. I got guts. But yeah, no, I think these things are really important. So, my first step to getting back to myself was not caring what people think of me after I had my child.
That's big.
It was because I was in a completely different body, completely different mindset, because I'm like, oh, now it's all about the baby. So that was for me. I was just so out of shape. And yeah, it was amazing that I just gave birth to a human. I was proud of myself. But thank you. But people do it all the time, but without failed relationships. So that was my big thing, is I'm like, am I a failure? But just reassuring myself that, people go through all types of things. I'm not a failure. You are what you think. So if you think you're a failure, you're a failure. But if you think that you're strong, you're going to get through it, you're going to get through it. What are your thoughts on insecurities or advice for mothers dealing with insecurities on their new figure or disfigure, as I called myself?
I think the insecurities just come from fear of judgment, fear of the thoughts of others. Because if we lived in a cave with no opinions, our appearance wouldn't matter.
Yep.
At all. But because there's other people and there's mirrors and there's commercials and these billboards, we think we have this standard we have to live up to. And a lot of that stuff's fake. So a lot of stuff we see online is fake. So I think the best thing we can do in order to build our confidence is to invest in ourselves. Time, energy, resources.
Yep.
And once you start to show yourself you love yourself, then you have proof that you care enough to care enough.
Yep.
And so if you go looking for security elsewhere and it lets you down, now you've double lost because you made a choice that you were wrong about and they didn't care. Now you're like, oh, they don't care and I made the wrong choice.
I really don't care now.
God, I suck. So you just got to find a way to implement the traits of the people that you want to attract. If you want people to think highly of you and believe in you, then you have to start with that, you know, and stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it is. It is tough, but it's probably the number one thing, like you said, you know, to do is to stop comparing yourself and just focus on the previous version. Did you get better?
Yep. I went to my yoga class last night, and I was leaving, and I said, thank you so much to the instructor. It was a great class. It was a sub, so I had never met her before. And she's like, I was like, I just dropped my son off. He's downstairs. I got to grab him. It's 7 o'clock. The daycare closes at 7. It was like 7:01 or 2. I was like, I got to run. She's like, my son is at karate. I understand there's that little piece inside of you as a mother. Like, you're still in there. You're not just a mom. And I was like, you get it. I was like, girl, you understand. I was like, we talk about this on my show. And she's like, what's your show? So I gave her my information. She followed me, but it was just a great small little snippet of a conversation to validate how I am feeling and how other mothers feel. We feel like we lose a lot of ourselves from our children or from having kids because we have to be a good role model. We have to be, you know, mothers unfortunately get the brunt of raising and doing most of the work for children. And we all have our roles. I'm not saying that dads aren't there, dads aren't present, dads don't do shit. That's not true. Some dads are full-time. I get that. But mothers most of the time have to do most of the work. We have different roles in life. I think fathers, you know, mostly are going to be the primary caregiver in most situations or provider, right? But for single mothers, they have to be both the parent and the provider. So like we were talking about earlier, different things like that men and women have, and things that women lack that men have, or things that men have that women lack. So I feel like as single mothers, we have to kind of compromise and bring some of those masculine traits in, even if they don't completely fit us because of the situation, because we want to be a good role model and be disciplined. But just not forgetting who you are and that person is still inside of you, even though you're a mom now, you're a parent, not losing yourself and taking the time to build yourself up to, for me, getting a gym membership that has a daycare. I couldn't afford it when I first had my son, but I knew that that's what I wanted, and I built up enough, you know, wealth and whatever to have that because it was important to me.
Yeah. And also, if you was looking for a babysitter or a nanny and they was doing what you was doing in the dark, would you hire them to freaking watch your son?
Exactly.
So are you?
Nope.
I'm like, so
me.
You got things that you don't want people watching your son to do, but then you gonna do them. Like, are you the person that you really want to be raising your child? But it's like when it comes to us and ourselves, we're like, oh, but I'm the mom, so I know I would never do anything wrong if I'm eating BS or smoking this or staying out late or skipping my sleep. But you wouldn't want your nanny driving if they didn't sleep. Mm-hmm. You know, you wouldn't want somebody taking care of your kids if they had an addiction problem in the closet. So, you know, really doing that work first for sure.
Yeah, and just being aware and I don't know, smart because when it comes to kids, after I had my son, I just didn't play with my life anymore. You have to set a good example, and you can't just pretend. This is the hardest part, right? Is you can't just say what you're going to do and then have people, you have to actually do all the work. You have to do the work. I tried getting by saying oh yeah, I'm doing great. Fake it till I make it. But I wasn't doing a lot of the work. The only time I saw significant changes when I sat my ass down, got back in school, and I did the work.
Yeah, you can put up the facade. You can fake the interview. It don't stop you from getting fired.
Hey, that part.
Because under pressure, love, excitement, and stress, your true character comes out every time.
Yep. What about, I want to ask you really quick about outgrowing passed down limiting beliefs. That was a huge one for me, is not just understanding, but truly believing that I could have more and provide more for my son than my own parents did for me. What are your thoughts on limiting beliefs?
A lot of times, in my situation at least, it was because I was trying to live up to and make other people proud before myself. And so, especially when I was working with my uncle or, my dad wasn't around, but I still wanted to make him proud. Now we're best friends. He's like my dude. I'm actually going to meet him tonight. But once you start to do what you truly feel you're meant to do. Find your gift. Find what you're passionate about. Reflect on your story. And these are all things we can really identify. What would you do for free for the rest of your life? What is easy for you that doesn't come easy for others? Go into the dark chapters. Take those 3 things. Find a way to contribute it to others through resources, creation, whether you're doing a book, you're doing content, conversations, whatever it is. Then what that feedback loop gives you, that's going to fuel you more than what you think about others. And now once you're able to contribute differently than your family, eventually your family will come around. Mm-hmm. They'll come around eventually. My uncle, my dad proud of me now. But before they're like, I don't know if I should give him this job. This motherfucker crazy. He's alcoholic. I'm going to have him selling liquor? I'm like, yeah, but I switched my mindset into personal development. So I was like, okay, if I can really do this now, I'll be able to start my own one day. So using it as a crutch and a segue, but yeah, really do the self-work. Do the self-work, because beneath the titles, beneath the preconceptions of others, and beneath, your genetics, there's another being in there, and that's your spirit. That is still the 4-year-old boy, 5-year-old boy that you were one day, that you used to like to play with, whatever you like to play with. Like, he's still in there, but you got to figure out how to make that happen today.
Yep. It's really, I think, paying attention to your thoughts, like I had just mentioned. When I stopped myself and I was aware of what the conversation was going on in my head, I almost started crying. I'm like, wow, why am I so mean to that little girl inside of me? Like, what is going on? But because I was aware of it, now I can be like, hey, when those thoughts start coming in, you got to stop them or change them, But I have one last question for you real quick before we head out of here. Since we're here being vulnerable and opening up about things, what is one thing that you say you could work on personally yourself? Right now, not like before in your dark days. What's something that you're still struggling with? Because we all still struggle.
Right now, probably.
I can give an example. Mine is I'm a procrastinator. I'm a procrastinator. I need to work on doing things timely manner.
It's tough because I can work on everything. There's not one thing that I can't work on. So, like, what can I work on most? What
sticks out to you in the days you're like, dang it, I need to work on that?
I've been trying to work on my compassion.
Okay.
Because I'd be like, well, you freaking made them choices. What are you doing? And my mom really brought that to my attention, because the way I talk to myself to pull me out of that place, I even tone it down when I talk to people, and they're like, that's too mean. That's too mean. Why don't you just talk with a little more TLC in your voice? I'm like, that's way nicer than what I said to myself back in the day. So being mindful of that, especially because majority of my growth partners, clients, and people in the CYC are women.
Yep.
I try to, find that balance of, like, I'm speaking to my mother. Like, I'm speaking to, the significant other, the feminine component. And I was so much in my masculine that I didn't care about that. But I actually did a master class with Catherine, who's from the UK, and she does all the inner child work for women. Mm-hmm. And just understanding that we all have that balance. And I think a lot of women are attracted to this style because they want the masculine component. They want to be able to do what they say instead of like, oh, I'll just wait for it. So that's the balance that I provide. But when I present it to them, I have to remember that we're still dealing with, an emotional, fragile, essentially, being. And we're created like that, nurturers and providers. Like, that's how it's supposed to be, and that's how we come out. And then society amplifies it and makes it even worse, So, but yeah, compassion, really probably the best thing I've been working on the most.
I love that. I think I could also work on that a little bit. I think when you're in such a dark place and have been through so much, like, tumultuous occurrences, it can be hard to have sympathy for people. That's something I struggle with. I can have lots of empathy. Like, I can come on your level and completely understand you, but feeling bad for somebody, like, I've been there a lot of times. Like, that's a struggle for me. I feel like being compassionate is really, really important when you're talking to somebody. But do you have anything else you want to add to our show today?
Hey, man, listen. You get to a point where you're done dealing with your own shit. Then you have to evaluate your environment. Then you got to set the foundation. Then you invest in yourself. and then you contribute to others. So once you get to that point, that turning point, it's up to you to make the change. We got trigger points all the time. Trigger points will put us in a position where we could choose to do what we used to do, or we can choose what we're going to do. It only is a turning point if we choose our intention. We choose emotion and habits, then it's a trigger point, but it could put you deeper into the past. So for those of y'all looking to be able to identify, is this a trigger or is this a turning point? It starts with your time before and after your sleep. You master that, you master your life.
There you go. I hope y'all took notes because we dropped a lot of information on you today. He had some knowledge bombs. But that's the tea, baby. So if you are watching, follow, don't forget to subscribe, not only to me, but to Big Dream Hakeem on Instagram. We also have the Baby Mama Drama Show on YouTube. Follow me, subscribe there. And the Baby Mama Drama podcast on IG. If you guys have anything that you want to write in and talk about, any topics, or just a short story you want me to share, I've got you. Email us at the Baby Mama Drama Podcast at gmail.com. And that's the tea, baby. Until the next tantrum, love yourself, choose yourself, don't lose yourself. Thank you so much, Hakeem.
Let's get it. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Y'all have a great day.
All right now. Lit.
That was such a good show.